Great. So hi, my name is Mary Katie Moses. I'm an education consultant with the Department of Education Nutrition Support. And today we're going to be discussing the community eligibility provision, focusing on doing a general overview and on the population data. So what is CEP? So it was established by the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act. It's a meal service option for schools and school districts in low-income areas. CEP allows the nation's highest poverty schools and districts to serve breakfast and lunch at no cost to all enrolled students without the burden of collecting those household applications. This alternative saves local education agencies, LEAs, time and money by streamlining paperwork and administrative requirements, and facilitates low-income children's access to nutritious school meals. While the program operates on a 4-year cycle, schools may opt in or out each year. Right. So there's many guidance materials available that are highly detailed from the USDA. Many of them were recently updated because of the new percentage having been lowered. So these guidance materials include the Community Eligibility Provision Planning and Implementation Guidance Updated. It was released in February 2024, which replaces the 2016 version. It does have anything that's changed highlighted. So if you're not able to print out all 64 pages, you can go through and print out those highlighted pages. Community Eligibility Provision Guidance and Updated Q&As was also released in February 2024. The CEP implementing the new minimum identified student percentage was released in September of 2023. And the statutory annual notification and publication requirement in school year 2024-2025 election deadline was released in February. So all of these are hyperlinked, and you'll be able to click through those whenever we post this PowerPoint on Louisiana Fit Kids. Right? So the criteria to participate in the program. So prior to being approved to participate in CEP, the school food authorities must agree to the following. Number one, serve all children free breakfasts and lunches. Everything comes down to feeding the kids. 2, cover costs above reimbursement amounts with non-federal funds. 3, do not collect or process meal applications at the sites where you're doing CEP. 4, school food authorities by individual sites or clusters of sites must have enrollment with at least 25% of the students considered identified students to participate in CEP. Previously, it was 40%, so it has been lowered by 15% for this upcoming school year. You must refresh the population data as of April 1st of the school year participation. And so for this year, that's going to be April 1st, 2024 for the school year 24-25. That's going to be when the information is locked in and only counts students up till that point. Number 5, residential childcare institutions are not eligible. So what are non-federal funds? So school food authorities must use non-federal funding sources to cover operational costs when the federal reimbursement received under CEP is less than the cost of providing no-cost meals to all students. Non-federal funding sources include, but are not limited to, any portion of state revenue matching funds that exceeds the minimum requirement established in 7 CFR Part 210.17, profits from a la carte sales, cash donations, in-kind contributions from outside sources such as volunteer services, or transfers from SFA's general funds. Determining school eligibility. So during the process of determining school eligibility, the term identified students refers to children who are directly certified for free school meals based on their participation or a household member's participation and other means-tested assistance programs, such as the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, TANF, or the Food Distribution Program on Indian Reservations, FDPIR, or Medicaid free. Identified students are also children who are categorically eligible for free school meals without an application and who are not subject to verification, including homeless, runaway, and migrant children, children enrolled in federally funded Head Start program or comparable state-funded Head Start or pre-kindergarten program, and foster children certified through means other than a household application. Please note that children must be considered eligible for one of these categories between the start of the school year and April 1st. That file comes out in April, will be March data. So data captured between March 1st and the 31st, gonna be that final batch of data on April 1st. All right, so determining school eligibility. Again, all children that fall into the categories listed here are referred to as identified students, which is where you get the term ISP. Okay. So a few quick points for school food authorities to remember in determining your school eligibility are students in the same household with directly certified students, SNAP and TANF, can be counted as identified students. SFAs are not able to use information from free and reduced applications to identify students. If an identified student percentage of at least 62.5% is determined, then all meals are reimbursed at the free rate. If the student percentage falls between 25 and 62.5%, then meals will be reimbursed at a combination of both free and paid rates. All right, so this is the formula that school food authorities should use to determine the identified student percentage. You will divide the number of identified students as of April 1st by the number of enrolled students as of April 1st, and then multiply by 100. I provided two examples of percentages for you. The first example shows a school that has determined there are 550 students with a total enrollment of 700 students. To find the identified student percentage, ISP, you would divide the 550 students by the enrollment of 700. So 550 divided by 700 is 0.757149, which rounds up to 0.7587. You multiply that by 100 and calculate the ISP of 78.57%, which meets the threshold. The second example shows 150 identified students with an enrollment of 700 students. Again, you would divide the 150 identified students by the 700 enrollment. 150 divided by 700 equals 0.2142857, which rounds to 0.2142. Multiply 100 to calculate the ISP of 21.43%. Please remember that the ISP must be at least 25% to be eligible. Therefore, the percentage of 21.43% does not meet the threshold. Determining claiming percentage. For schools participating in CEP, the ISP multiplied by 1.6 equals the percentage of meals claimed at the free rate. The remaining meals served, up to 100%, are reimbursed at the paid rate. Note that the 1.6 is the highest of the range that the USDA provided, and so we're making sure that you're getting reimbursed the maximum amount possible. In example 1, we will use the ISP from the previous slide, 78.57%, multiplied by the CEP multiplier of 1.6, equals a claiming percentage of 125.71%. This percentage exceeds 100%, therefore all meals can be claimed as free. In example 2, a school food authority with an ISP of 46.85%, multiplied by the CEP multiplier of 1.6, equals a claiming percentage of 74.96%. So this SFA will claim 74.96% of their meals as free, and the remaining 25.04% as paid. We do have a tool available that can do those multiplication for you when it comes to claiming. All right. Direct certification matching requirements. All local education agencies operate CEP are required to conduct a data match at least once annually. It is recommended to be conducted monthly. This will allow the school food authority to take advantage of ISP increases, as well as to observe demographic trends over the year. Just to reiterate, the identified student percentage must be established based on data as of April 1st of the school year prior to CEP election. The notification requirements. All state agency and LEA notification requirements are met by completion of the population data and the CEP worksheet in the CEP Manager portal of eScholar Direct Match. All local education agencies are required to provide this information regardless of the intent to participate. No later than April 15th of each school year, school food authorities must submit to the state agency the school level eligibility, population data, which includes schools that have an ISP of at least 25%, making them eligible for CEP, have an ISP greater than or equal to 15%, but less than 25%, making them near eligible for CEP, are currently participating in CEP, and are currently in the 4th year of CEP participation with an ISP greater than or equal to 15%, but less than 25%, which makes you eligible for a grace year to continue to participate. By June 30th, 2024, local education agencies that intend to elect CEP for school year 2024-25 must notify their state agency of the intent to elect CEP and submit documentation showing the counts of identified students and enrolled students for schools electing CEP as of April 1st, 2024. Similarly, by April 15th of each school year, state agencies are required to notify local education agencies of district-wide eligibility, and by May 1st, publish lists of local education agencies and schools that are eligible and nearly eligible for CEP participation on their websites. Okay. So CEP election requirements. The requirements are as follows. CEP elections begin on June 1st, 2024. Each year, all CEP elections must be made by June 30th. All CEP elections will be completed in eScholar. On the slide, you'll find a listing of the CEP deadline dates. It is important to note that all school food authorities must confirm the population data in eScholar CEP Manager by April 15th. All SFAs must make final elections regarding CEP participation for the 2024-2025 school year through eScholar by June 30th. All right, so now we're going to talk about eScholar CEP Manager, walk through how to navigate this part of the site. So eScholar 2024, the eScholar conducted a direct match training for end users for an overview of the direct match system. All identified students must be reported in eScholar Direct Match to automatically feed into the CEP Manager system. Enrollment and identified students should be up to date for April 1st in eScholar. It is important that school food authorities have an idea that the data will be accurate on April 1st. CEP Manager is opening today to begin reviewing data. However, it is important to remember that data will need to be refreshed after April 1st prior to submission. School food authorities are responsible for ensuring that all schools are listed as well as the accuracy of the identified student percentage and total enrollment. For the April 1st data, April 1st is when that data is closed, but USDA does report the data to the states closer to April 3rd. And so you'll want to continue to have your data manager refresh and make sure that they're capturing every student, including the ones in March, to make sure you get as many matches as possible and all students are accounted for. So for the CEP manager to be successful, child nutrition program staff and data managers must work together to ensure all enrolled children and identified students are up to date. Public and non-public school districts must resubmit current students to Person ID for ID assignment and claim the master record by April 1st. Direct Match uses the master records in Person ID to match against SNAP, TANF, Medicaid free lunch, and Medicaid reduced lunch. Enrollment data in the CEP manager for non-public school district comes from Person ID. Enrollment data in the CEP manager for public districts is automatic and it comes from EdLink. Okay, so population data form. All school food authorities, even those not applying for CEP, with the exception of traditional RCCIs, must submit the population data form in eScholar to the state agency at the site level no later than April 15th each year. All population data will automatically be pulled from the eScholar system. SFAs will only have to confirm the data is correct and that all operating school sites are included. When logging into eScholar Direct Match, users should access the login URL linked on the screen and enter your login information. After logging into eScholar, you'll need to go to the Direct Match section. To navigate there, click on Main Menu and then My Student. For assistance, please contact Jane at the email provided in this slide. All right. CEP Manager. The CEP Manager icon is the abacus on the navigation panel. The icon will only appear if the user has rights to the CEP Manager functions within Security Manager. CEP Manager allows the user to view and update and certify the population data. The CEP Manager instructions are on the bottom of the CEP Manager page. Please note that the first 4 instructions are relevant to population data, and steps 5 through 8 are about election data, which we'll be doing later on. So the School Food Authority must verify all fields, and CEP data must be as of the date specified by the state. To ensure up-to-date count of identified students, you should conduct 1 or more matches on Match Options page and resolve near matches as needed. Once all data is verified, you must certify the information by checking the box next to the certification statement. After certifying population data, you must click the Submit button. All right. So the population tab displays the total identified, total enrolled, district trends, population status, and election status due dates. The locations and the pending data are listed below the summary information. Click to see the data for the individual school. In this case, we selected school code 34570. On this page, you can view the students by program and the student ID number. The green triangle indicates a manual match and a green circle indicates a system match. The user will verify the data on this page for each program in each school, and you click to return to the previous page. Once the data has been reviewed, the user must submit and certify the population data. Check the box next to the certification statement and click the Submit and Certify Population button. 1 second, I'm going to go back 1 slide. So on the bottom of this screenshot, you'll see the eligibility indicator. Currently, it does still say 40% and near eligible 30 to 40%. eScholar is updating this currently, and so if the indicators on the next page show that your sites that are in that 25 to 40% range, it's not showing them as eligible, just know that that's being corrected and will be updated before election time. Okay. So once the data has been submitted, the state must accept the data submission. All right. And then once the state has accepted the submission, the district will see the accepted status indicator where there used to be a due date. All right. So eScholar Direct Match contact and resources. Please ensure you're able to log into the website. For assistance, see the chart below. If you have any questions on ensuring all identified students, please contact Jane at her email listed here. Also, phone number for the department provided. But if you have any issues like needing new user access or to change or reset the password, please reach out to your local education agency security coordinator. Right. So other CEP considerations. When to establish a new year one. The CEP reimbursement rate corresponds with the poverty level of the households served by the participating schools. Changes to a student population could indicate a change in the poverty level of the households served by the school and may require an ISP to be recalculated within a 4-year cycle. Depending on the extent of the change and the entity involved, refer to the community eligibility provision guidance and updated questions and answers for more information. New schools in CEP. Newly opened schools and or schools new to NSLP SBP should contact the state agency to discuss if they're able to participate in CEP the first year. Please note that the deadlines for elections is the same. Opting out of CEP. School food authorities may elect to stop CEP at any time by 1. Notifying Louisiana Department of Education of the decision. 2. Notifying households of the decision and allowing ample time for submission of free and reduced applications. School food authorities must offer all students reimbursable free meals for a period of at least 30 operating days following the date of restoration of standard procedures or until a new eligibility determination is made, whichever comes first. If a school food authority elects to no longer apply the CEP in their system or at targeted sites within the system, the school food authority must notify the state agency that they wish to not apply CEP in the following school year, no later than June 30th of the current year. School food authorities may not discontinue CEP once the school year has begun. End of CEP cycle or grace year. At the end of the CEP 4-year cycle, school districts must reestablish their identified student percentage to operate community eligibility. What if the SFA does not have an identified student percentage of 25% or higher in year 4 of the cycle? In this situation, the SFA may be eligible to stay on the option for an additional year grace period. In order to be eligible for this grace period, the identified student percentage in the year 4 of the last cycle must be between 15 and 25%. Therefore, if a system cluster in year 4 has an ISP of 19%, they would continue a grace year at 30.4% free claiming and 69.6% paid claiming. Note, non-federal funds are necessary if the total amount of the federal reimbursement through CEP does not fully cover the cost of serving all students meals at no charge. Record keeping requirements. CEP schools are subject to the same basic reporting and record-keeping requirements as schools conducting normal counting and claiming or operating under other special provisions. The state agency does assess the accuracy of an LEA's ISP. In Louisiana, as part of the administrative review, the state agency will locate 10% or a statistically valid sample of identified student names on appropriate source documentation. Therefore, the SFA must, at a minimum, as part of the administrative review records, maintain the following ISP data for LEAs and schools participating in CEP. A list of all the identified students with their ISP classification used to determine the ISP from all schools participating in CEP from each district, documentation for the total enrollment at all CEP schools, the sample list of students that the state agency used to verify the initial ISP, and all records from the year any updates are made to the ISP. The ISP worksheet the LEAs use to calculate the ISPs and submitted to state agencies with appropriate documentation. In addition, this documentation must be retained for 3 years after the submission of the final claim for reimbursement under that claiming percentage. Must retain records used in the development of the ISP during the entire period CEP is in effect. Records for the initial approval year and all records for the year any updates are made to the ISP. Some final thoughts. For CEP manager to be successful, CNP staff and data managers must work together to ensure all enrolled children and identified students are up to date. So resubmit current students to unique ID for ID assignment and claim the master record. Direct Match uses the master records and unique ID to match against SNAP, TANF, Medicaid. The history records and unique ID are not used in Direct Match. Run Direct Match for SNAP, TANF, Medicaid, and resolve all near matches. Resolve all address matches. Ensure all D-SNAP children have been added to eScholar. Ensure all DC extensions completed in food service software are actually entered into eScholar through manual authorization. And if you have any additional questions or for more information, please contact Jane at the email provided. When concerning eScholar, but now we are open to questions. Okay, so I apologize about the noise, but about the audio issues. It wasn't giving me alerts for some reason. Was there a particular slide where you weren't able to hear me clearly, where you'd like it repeated? So I'm being asked to repeat resubmission. Hi. You know what? With any questions where like the audio was lost or anything, I'm gonna put my email in the chat. We can put it in there because I'm unsure what resubmission, what you mean by resubmission. Slides will be posted within 1 week. On LouisianaFitKids.com, the website. Okay, so you'd like me to repeat the calculation? When we spoke with eScholar, they said they would be opening up the population data for you to be able to see tomorrow. They wanted to make sure everyone was in the training first. Okay. So the calculations, so the identified student percentage, it's the identified students divided by the enrolled students. So that's the total number of students divided by enrolled students. And you get a decimal, and then you multiply that one by 100, and that gives you the identified student percentage. The identified student percentage should be multiplied by 1.6. And this is how you get the claiming percentage. So that's the percent that you'll be claiming. Okay, so in the interest of time, any additional questions can be sent to child nutrition programs at la.gov, or you can call us at 225-342-9661. Both of those contacts have been shared in the chat. And thank you so much for coming today.